Hi there, everybody. Oh, there we go. Bring this up. How we doing, everybody? We got a good chunk of people here today. Everybody's excited. Earned it, hello. Indigo, hello. Fallen, hello. Nifstral, hi, happy to see you. And Jen, hello, while you can hang out. Hi, everybody. Oh, Jen, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Very generous of you. Lucy Chonky Lee, hello. Happy to see you. Excellent. Cool. So welcome back. We're going to do Let's Make a Game today. It has been a while. And I want to talk about some of the little differences that are going to be happening with Let's Make a Game and kind of some of my thoughts on it. But before we do that, let's do some quick... Hang on. Hold on. You're about to look down the infinite dimension of Streamlabs. Oh, dear. Let's cover up our shame immediately. Boop, there we go. There's the old game. This is our agenda. This is what we're doing today. You can see the word cannibals is very large for reasons that make sense. Before we do that, I'm guessing that all of you have voted, but I want to draw your attention to this. Our poll for figuring out what our first challenge game after the Cuphead DLC is going real well. We've got a lot of people that have voted in this thing. Hollow Knight's all DLC is running away with it right now. So if you'd like to see something else, you need to get your vote in there. That's over on Twitter, so make sure you check that out. Today I'm going to have the chat up on my phone while we do this. I also can't look at the stream because of the goofy setup that I have, so I actually have an internet connection. So if anything is up with like the stream health or anything like that, if you all could do me a favor and just let me know. Just tell me. I'd really appreciate it. How we doing today, though? But for Hollow Knight, another game too hard for me to play, so I love watching others play instead. We're going to be doing specifically the DLC, which I'm really excited about. I'm like on the last boss of a regular playthrough. I said that for all these challenge runs, I've been preparing. The Hollow Knight one is no exception. I've been doing a playthrough literally just so we can be in a place to tackle the DLC, which I know is what people are, and like post-game stuff, which I know is what people get really excited about that game. Hope you're all doing well. I know it's early on Sunday. Thanks for coming by. Let's talk about our plans for Let's Make a Game a little bit. Welcome back. We're going to make a game in here. Gonna have a cold to hit your whole household. I'm glad to hear you're getting better, Fallen. So this is what we had last time, right? I took a break for a couple reasons last time. One, I kept on finding that I was kind of bumping up against the edges of both what I could do in RPG Maker and what RPG Maker can do without you hacking the life out of it, essentially. And it got me sort of wondering if RPG Maker was the best tool for what we were doing, especially because like we didn't have any RPG style battles. We were increasingly moving away from the kind of adventure gamey, like look around and examine things model. And so I was starting to worry that it wasn't the right tool for what we wanted to do. And then I just had a ton of my own like work-life balance to figure out. So this all went back burner. Today, the other big thing that happened actually is that it's been a while since I've been a teacher. And I miss it. I miss it a lot, actually. I guess to clarify, I miss teaching. I miss being in the classroom and helping people with their creative projects and stuff like that. I don't miss dealing with the administration or parents or a lot of the other things that come with teaching. Nobody clipped that. But kind of what I thought that would be interesting is because something that I've tried to take from being a teacher and from learning how to teach is also learning how to teach myself, if that makes sense. Like now that I know how it works, kind of trying to build systems for myself to learn skills and sort of if I was talking to somebody else, what advice would I give them, right? So for a little bit, whenever we're not just specifically grinding out a task, when we're doing the initial organization, I think I'm going to try to organize each Let's Make a Game around kind of a skill or an idea that you might find interesting, that might be applicable to multiple creative ventures, might just be applicable to writing, might just be applicable to game making. So today we're going to talk about cannibals. And the one thing that I want to make clear here is sort of what I want to do with you all is something that I always really wanted to do as a teacher that was not by my colleagues. My colleagues were very, very supportive of this and always very supportive of my experiments. I did a lot of experimenting because I couldn't help myself. I did a lot of experimenting. But something that I always got the sense that I wouldn't be able to pitch as easily to the town, say, is this idea of trying to teach by going through the learning process myself and kind of modeling the learning process, if that makes sense. So instead of me coming down, I think most of you here probably like the show I write, and that's probably why you're here. But instead of treating myself as an authority, I'm going to be learning as we go and kind of thinking out loud, if that makes sense. So if you have creative stuff that you're working on, this is a chill place for you to do it. These are not like specific lessons with worksheets and stuff. You're never going to have homework or anything like that. This is basically just to kind of give each day a theme, if that makes sense. And today we're talking about cannibals, by which I mean cannibalizing your old projects to build something new out of them. Because I definitely, when we started this, we started it with what I still hold is a really, really useful initial creative move, right? Hi, Pascal. Happy to see you. We started with what I still hold is a good initial creative move, which is essentially get it all out, right? It's all free association. It's all getting it all out. And I think that we came up with a lot of stuff that I really like, and we came up with a lot of stuff that started to feel like a dead end to me, in the sense that we had some good jokes, we had some likable characters, but they were likable in kind of a one-note way. The jokes couldn't really be built on. So what I want to do is take a look at what we had before, and really kind of critically ask, like, what do I like here? Right? What do I want to stick around? What do I want to build on? Is there anything here that I forgot about? And for those of you that weren't around last time we did Let's Make a Game, this is your chance to check it out too. I like our main characters, don't worry. Good Boy and Bad Boy are not going anywhere, although things about them might change, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, that's enough talking. Let's play our old game. Really a test room more than anything else. Is RPG Maker gonna scream at us right now? I forget. No, okay, RPG Maker is blissfully silent. There we go. So this is the little puzzle room that we had set up. Our premise, if I recall, because we also had part of a script written up that I will take a look at and open up for you all in a little bit so we can kind of leaf through it. The very, very basic premise is that the characters running around in circles right now is, oh my god, what's his full name? Harold Goodboy. And this is Bad Boy Jenkins. I remembered Bad Boy's name immediately. And the idea that we started with was that you'd flip between the two of them when you were controlling them, right? And solve different puzzles with them. We eventually kind of stumbled upon a type of puzzle with Bad Boy that I was really intrigued by and remain really intrigued by. And I think we were moving in a direction of only Bad Boy is playable. Let's take a look at what that direction was. I believe this still leads to, this still leads to the test room. Can we switch here? No, we can't. Okay. So the puzzles that we had kind of settled on expanding was this. Okay, maybe I should review before I make a spell. Was this, and it was spell building, right? So I think we have an explanation here. Let's just take a look at what it says. How to build a spell. Every spell is a collection of 3 to 4 magic syllables. With great practice, one may be able to memorize a magic chant into a reusable spell. A magic chant is composed of the following syllables: effect, target, attitude, and effectiveness. I remember this. For example, the magic word Ordorfpon, O plus Dorf plus Po plus N, can be used to cap an open Dorf, although the caster should be warned that this can make a terrible mess. So if we go, I'm ready to build the spell, O, Dorf, Po. Cast it. Yep. We don't have it set. We used to have it. We used to have it set so that a little dwarf would make an ow noise when we did that. But I guess it's not in this room. So that was the general idea, right? And so there's the glossary of magic syllables that gives. I need the glossary for effect syllables. Looks like I ripped this page out. I think the first time I cast Open Dwarf, I kind of panicked. Let's look up target. Some common syllables of magic are included below. Dwarf for dwarfs, door for doors, burr for butter. With these at your side, you can do most anything a magician could want. Magicians kind of freaked me out, BB. I forgot about that. Attitude indicates the emotional energy behind a spell. It does not require an extended glossary, but can be dangerous if misused. Becca, hello. Happy to see ya. There are only 5 attitudes. Po, polite. Na, nauseous. Ha, hangry. Fu, for furious. Or ko, cool. If you believe that you have felt an emotion other than these, Magician Academia would like to inform you that you are mistaken. Different attitudes react differently to different materials. For example, underground things like iron and dwarfs respond best to politeness because they were raised well. Do not engage subterranean targets with hanger. They have no tolerance for it. So these are the kinds of puzzles that we are kind of putting together here. Lots of hints to figure out the syllables that create a magic spell, right? So I believe that all that information is supposed to get you to a place where you can cast O, door, po. Magic word is Odorpon. Cast it. Bad boy learned open door. Big iron door, and I, as a small boy made mostly of fog and other clouds, cannot open it. Bad boy's got a few good lines. I tend to be very critical of my past work, but I'm pretty happy with. Oh, there's the dwarf. Ow. And open door, and the door opens. Right. So that's what we got up to last time, and I really like this kind of spell. Or this kind of spell, this kind of puzzle. Let's go back to our main room real quick, although that, I think, is pretty scattered and shattered right now. So, I guess, why am I stepping away from RPG Maker? I think it's because the longer we did this, and the more we kind of got into... is this for spells too? No. So I think that the longer that we did this and the more that we got into, that works everywhere. So happy to see it. The more we got into this and the more we got into those sets of spells, the more I realized that sort of what RPG Maker was giving us for tools was going to make some of the things that I wanted to do very clunky on the user end. And I'm not saying that RPG Maker is incapable of those things. But I think from a lot of the research that I had done, it would have required a lot of hacking. And at that point, it made me wonder, why am I not using another system that I'm already much more familiar with? Because I used to monkey around in Game Maker quite a lot, years and years ago. All of our stream notifications for like follows and subs and everything, those are sprites that I made for a thing that I worked on when I was probably like in my early 20s, like maybe like 22, so probably so like 10 years ago. So I know that version of Game Maker a little better. It'll take me some time to get adjusted to the new one. The reason that I brought us here is because eventually I realized that navigating through all of those text boxes to build your spells was gonna be irritating and cumbersome and limited, in the sense that it really, really restricted the number of syllables that could possibly be in the game, because I think for the speech system, they would all have to be accessible from the beginning. So we made this brain space where each of these treasure boxes is a different syllable. We didn't implement that part, but we did make it so that you can only have one treasure box open in each section. And this is the beginning. And then when you're done, this door glows. Your magic word is Ordorf Koan. Is Odorfku? No. All right. So I liked things about this, but it's just too slow and too clunky. And I think that one of the things I'd really like to be able to do, I'm realizing, is to give the audience the chance, or the player the chance, to build their magic words just by like clicking and dragging, which we can kind of do in RPG Maker. But our little guy running around is still responsible for a lot of it. So, real quick, when we're cannibalizing, taking the parts you like, leaving the rest. Insert. No, we don't need a table. I always want to have a table, but I almost never need a table. Let's break this down into story stuff. I think I do need a table. This is how I work, everybody. I can make this a little bigger. This is 100% how I work. Insert. Table. There we go. Let's make one for story. One for system. There we go. So for story, things that I like that I want to keep. Good boy and bad boy. Love having a little chart for things. It's just things, information belongs in a chart is how I feel deep in my heart of hearts. For the system, we want to keep spell construction. Add spell construction via click and drag. I'm going to highlight click and drag there because when I skim through this document, I want to be able to quickly look for some of the first things that I might need to learn, if that makes sense. Right, so if I want to learn the spell construction via click and drag, there we go. Maybe for spell construction, there could be a way to highlight different parts of the spell in different colors. I had that written down for one of my ideas. Thank you for reminding me, Nistral. That I think that add spell syllables should also be colors and shapes. It occurred to me that we're kind of diving into puzzle game territory here in a way, because we're talking about assembling things in the right order, and there could be an interesting set of obstacles to getting in the way of that, right? So I thought about colors, and then I thought that might not be accessible for colorblind people. So I think if we have syllables, colors, and shapes, we're kind of covered from all angles. Reminds me of Baba Is You. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a similar logical construction thing. Another thing that I've been doing that I can actually write down here is I've been reading and trying to go through some like classic books of logic puzzles. Really like, I forget the author's name, but I really like Satan, Cantor, and Infinity. Because I've been finding them super useful for figuring out how to make puzzles that are largely in writing, if that makes sense. So I think a lot of it's going to be built around that. The other big part of the system is bad boy controls good boy indirectly. What a name. Yeah, no, it's a wild name. And I don't think the book, at least I'm not done with it. The puzzles are very hard. I have yet to get to a point where the book has anything to do with Satan, Cantor, or Infinity. We like Good Boy and Bad Boy. I like that their aim is to get married. But right now, that's sort of the only aim, and there's kind of a mustache twiddling villain, and it's like, it is for the sake of a joke, and there is a kind of like inherent emotional pull here. But it's not definitely something that I was realizing as I was thinking it over is it's not quite enough for me yet. The stakes aren't quite high enough, mostly because I could never answer the question, why can't they just get married tomorrow? And I could just like make up reasons and pile on reasons on top of that. But that gets less and less satisfying the more that you do it, right? So that was a stopping block that I had. I think that we had an initial idea about like uniting kingdoms, which again by itself is a little bit of a cliche. So we got to be able to dress it up in something a little bit more interesting, right? I think that you can. Something that I was talking about with a friend of mine the other day is that sometimes, even when a story is doing something very complicated, they will tie it to something extremely simple that you can understand. A good example of this is actually Star Wars, right? It's the first trilogy specifically. You have like this big, kind of difficult to grasp galactic war. Right? I don't know if it's galactic, but you have this massive, hard to grasp war that like we know who the good guys are, we know who the bad guys are, we don't really know what it's about. But our into understanding that war is the Luke and Vader dynamic, right? When it's just vaguely like bad guys blew up a planet, that's really bad. I'm not gonna say it's not. But in terms of getting us to like get really invested in it and care about it, the stakes had to be a little bit more personal than that. And I think that the like, oh no, my dad is on the wrong side of the war, right, is a very personal thing that we latch onto a lot more easily, if that makes sense. So I want to toy with that a little bit. That is why Return of the Jedi is the best digital. Thank you. So I have this idea that I want to do where before, my other concern is that I think just because my creativity trends this way, the world we were building in here was drifting a little too close to Second Citadel for my liking. We had a human kingdom and a monster kingdom. We had etc. Right? And although those are very broad tropes that I think that you can use kind of however you want, I wasn't feeling them, partially because I was already doing them somewhere else. So kind of what I wanted to build this around in here is like a little explanatory myth that I will get into. But basically the concept that I had was this, right? So you have these two kingdoms of claymen and demons/ghosts, right? I haven't decided if they're demons or ghosts yet. In this case, good boy would be a clayman. Bad boy would be a ghost. I might be leaning towards ghosts, I'm realizing, right? And there is a fusion that happens, or that can happen, although it hasn't happened in a very, very long time because these two groups have been at war, where clayman plus ghost equals human. Equals a gay man. Well, Will also, right? You're not wrong, Pascal. But like the hollow clayman and then the like ghost spirit that goes inside it, right, together, create a person, and this hasn't happened in a while. The reason that I came up with this immediately, or the thing that I kind of want to tag about this, is something that I'm always thinking about on a storytelling standpoint too. That might make sense for how we've been running the show, right? Which is basically like, but the first idea is almost always too obvious. So here's why I'm suspicious of this. right? Reminds me of Huseki no Kuni, Land of the Lustrous. I'll have to look that up, Fallen. In fact, let me write that down. Analog to Huseki no Kuni. There we go. So creatively, this is something that Harley and I think about a lot, which is that the first idea is almost always too obvious. If we come up with a mystery, for example, or some big central question that needs to be answered in one of our stories, we don't always, but do usually throw out the first idea that we have. And it's because I can almost guarantee that if it's the first idea that I had, it's probably the first idea that everybody else is going to have too, because I'm not that smart. I'm playing with exactly the same tools as everybody is. So if I want to come up with something that feels new and surprising and interesting, it needs to be a couple layers deeper. I need to take this as a starting point and build on it from there, right? So as tempting as it would be to have this be the ending, like, oh, they get together and it makes a person, isn't this a beautiful story, right? That alone, I think, will end up feeling a little obvious if that's the entire arc of it. So I would much rather take this as a starting point and kind of build from there, right? What else do we have here? Let's take a look at... I'm actually going to change our view real quick because there's an off chance that there's an off chance that when I click this, some penumbra work is going to come up that you all can't see. So give me just a second. Okay. All right. Nope, it wasn't penumbra work. I can flip this back now. Right, exactly. It can't be the end of the story, right? End of Act 1 revelation? Very possibly. This is a list of things that I wanted to learn in RPG Maker. This is literally a list of things that the bad guy was going to call himself. We might be able to keep this. I might not have an issue with Lord Chaos as our villain. Head honcho of Hullabaloo is pretty good. I'm just gonna copy paste that. Lord Chaos with a question mark. There we go. He has now taken up almost the entire list, which I'm sure that he would love. Oh, Indigo, thanks for joining us while you could. Yes, Fallen, a bunch of you were really helpful with these names. Is the stream going to be archived? I could probably do that. Tell you what, Indigo, next stream that you're in on, if you're here tomorrow for Fool's Gold or on Thursday for Cuphead, remind me to archive it, and I can archive it right then. My issue is always that I forget, and after a few weeks, it disappears. Whoa, not what I'm looking for. There we go. I like this as the personality for Lord Chaos, I guess. I don't know that I like Lord Chaos himself yet. I guess kind of the thing that I need to ask myself about him is, what does he want? Because before it was just chaos, and that's when we were just kind of stringing together jokes. I think that worked. Something that I found over the course of what we were doing last time was that I wasn't quite satisfied by just stringing together jokes, right? I wanted a little bit more than that. So the name itself, I think, is on the chopping block, but I like this as sort of what he's up to. Let's see here. All right, so this is where we get into some of the spellbook stuff. Doesn't always know how to use it. Have bad boy advise him. Right, and we had a kind of good ending and bad ending planned out. Because it was our plan... Close this. I think most of this may have been in a previous version, so I don't know that we're going to be able to access it in the game itself. But we had a plan that this statue... you came in as Big Rock. Oh, wait, it looks like a crocodile. Probably shouldn't bother him. That this big dragon statue is going to be a significant character. Amy, hello! We all have Amy to thank for the good boy and bad boy emotes that we're hanging out with. Right, so we had a good ending and a bad ending kind of sorted out, right? That a lot of it was about helping the stone dragon help you escape. In the end, he gets taken over by Lord Chaos. And some of the spells that we've used, we have to use to, bad ending is you kill the dragon, good ending is you figure out a way to help him out, right? So we had some of these spells worked out. We had Kamwormhan for Destroy Dragons. Kawormha. Right, okay. Okay. Let's bring this over here. And... insert. We're going to make another table because I can't resist. I can't help myself. Spell stuff. We have Kawormhan, which destroys dragons. Or maybe it would be more useful. I'm trying to think about how best to organize this. First off, let's make this so that we can actually see the whole thing. Yeah, let's organize this like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so we had it so that 4 syllables make up a spell, right? It was effect, target, attitude, effectiveness. And for these, for effectiveness, there was or nothing. And I believe that the rule was that makes the spell work. Nothing, the spell doesn't work. And that sounded like just a bit, but we had some kind of puzzles hidden behind that I'd like to keep up, right? Like, when is it handy to specifically make it so that the effect that you're going for doesn't quite happen, right? For effect, we had O, we had K. I don't know if that's too mean, Nifstrel, because there's a couple things there are a couple ideas I'm messing around with here for what putting together spells would look like that admittedly kind of change the genre of what we're doing. So I think that our first couple of let's make a games after this one are going to be based around sort of putting together little demos for what we could do, right? What does a model of this look like where you put together the spell by dragging all the syllables into place? What's a model that looks a little bit more like a puzzle game look like? And things like that. We have Dwarf. Worm. Attitude, we have hangry, polite. What were the other ones? Spells. Or is that the thing that we were just looking at? I forgot about this. This is some of... Oh, Marrow, hello. Happy to see you. These are some of the ideas that we were messing with for what happens if you don't put the n at the end, which is what makes the spell work, right? So like if you cast Odorpo, which is open door except the spell doesn't work. Success, the door doesn't open any wider. Incredible, the door wants to open so bad it's shaking, but it doesn't. Something that shows that it has a kind of repeated and increased effect. So maybe part of the thrill that we're looking for here is how much the audience can just interact with the world. I guess the big thing that I have to consider for the system, Lord Chaos should not be over here. Lord Chaos should be over here. One of the things that we probably have to consider, right, is look at all possible spell combinations. There should be a guide / good reason why some don't work. And that's just to keep it satisfying, I think. Yeah. Destroys dragons. Door pawn opens doors. Do I have written down what the different attitudes are? I think we do in here. Let's go to the test room. Should be a rhyming spell. Let's take a look at glossary of magic syllables. Attitude. All right. I can sip my chamomile, chim chim mimimile, chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim tea. Polite, furious, nauseous, cool, and angry. Nah. Foo. And co. There we go. So I'm thinking that the very first thing that we should do before we settle in on anything else, because there's a lot about the original project that it seems like I like, right? If we're thinking about kind of cannibalizing old parts again and how to put these together. If you want an example of cannibalization at work in a thing that you've already seen, there are a bunch in the Penumbra, for example. Like I've said this many times. I think I've said it on Q&As and things. So this is not like secret information or anything. But like the character in season 2, Ramses O'Flaherty, is taken pretty much wholesale from another, like a full novel project that I wrote that'll never see the light of day because it wasn't very good. That character was the only good part of it. So, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking to find out that a thing that you've been working on for a very long time isn't going to work. But I find this process of going back into it and trying to figure out what did work about it and what can I take, to be super helpful. And also just sort of, it makes it hurt a little less because you still feel like you got something out of it, right? So In terms of stuff that we want to keep, we have a lot here. We need to flesh out the characters quite a bit. That'll probably be something I do more on my own time. But the thing that we can do together is some of this stuff. Figuring out some logic puzzles, figuring out this like click and drag or puzzles. Figuring out that system. I think that maybe our short-term goal with Let's Make a Game is to figure this out. Putting together the spell words with click and drag, if that makes sense. In order to do that, we're going to be using Game Maker. We're not going to get into that today. I don't have a ton of time today, unfortunately, because I need to go check out an apartment. True Heroes, hello, happy to see you. I need to go check out an apartment I need to leave in like 45 minutes. So we're not going to open a whole new can of worms with Game Maker today. But I think that we've basically figured out what we need to do for next time. So I'm going to write that down. Next time, start figuring out click and drag / puzzle interface. That'll probably involve some tutorials. That'll probably involve a little bit of making graphics. That kind of thing, right? So the way that we've always ended Let's Make a Game in the past is with some dessert. We have some Fool's Gold to play. So I think it might be time for Pokemon Fool's Gold soon. I had intended for this first one to be a little on the short side, just to kind of gather our thoughts here. We might play some Pokemon Fool's Gold first, but the other thing that I want to do is you never need to feel like you need to bring something to do to Let's Make a Game, right? There's no work required. But in the past, I definitely found that a lot of people found this to be a very useful time to do a lot of their creative work, just kind of with someone nearby talking about creative stuff. So one thing that I want to include in our time with Let's Make a Game is talking a little bit about what you all are up to if you want to. If anybody has any questions about things that they're stuck on with a creative thing that they're working on, larger sort of questions about starting a creative project, things like that, I wanted to leave a little bit of time during each stream to help you all out. So does anybody have anything? In fact, tell you what, I'm going to take a very quick break to fill up my Chim Chim Mimi Mile tea again. If you have any questions, put them in the chat, and we'll be back in just a sec, okay? And if there aren't any questions, then we'll jump into Fool's Gold for 40 minutes, and then we'll wrap up for the day. Thanks, everybody. Give me just a minute. Whoop. All right. Quick little break. Excuse me. Filled up my water again. Let's see here. We got a big one. True Heroes asks, I guess my question might be, at what point of staring at your work for too long and too hard do you need to decide that maybe the entire premise just isn't working and it's time to throw out the whole thing and start from scratch? It's a tough question, especially because I'm going to give you a very unhelpful answer followed by by much more helpful answer. The unhelpful answer is I found that there is not a standard rule. Different projects kind of speak to you differently in that way. And sometimes the feeling of this isn't going anywhere, and the feeling that you always get about 70% of the way, I find at like 40% and 70%, it gets really rough. Sometimes those feelings are indistinguishable, if that makes sense. However, one thing that, or sort of two tips that I would give you, right, is one, if you were careful about your scope when you started the thing to make sure that it's not going to be impossibly huge, then hopefully it doesn't cost you too much to just finish it. Just finish a messy one. You know what I mean? And just promise yourself that nobody else is ever going to have to look at it. If it seems like it's going to be very, very big, on the other hand, I advocate early and often for breaks to go work on other things. I think that if it is a marathon that you're looking at and let's say you're at the 40% mark, you're at the 20% mark, you're wherever, and it's feeling completely untenable, regardless, sort of forcing yourself to hammer it out for the remainder of this huge thing that you decided to do is going to drive you kind of nuts, especially without a break. I think that one thing that there are a lot of things about the structure of the Penumbra podcast that can be kind of a huge pain in the butt to put together, and probably, admittedly, probably to listen to. But one thing I really, really like about it is the fact that we bounce between these two series, and it's because I never get the chance to get too exhausted by one of them, if that makes sense, because it's always on to the next one. And that is something kind of built in to our structure that is there to help me out, if that makes sense, and to help us out. So I guess I would recommend, if your question is, do I give up on this forever? If it's really short, just finish it. It won't take you that long. It'll be painful, but you get to be proud of yourself for doing the painful work. If it looks like it's going to be very long, take a break. And if you find that you never have the feeling that you want to come back, that break was probably for a reason. And you may find that you want to cannibalize some stuff from that in the future, but the thing itself as it is right now isn't really appealing to you. True, is that helpful? Did that make sense? I'm bringing up Fool's Gold while we talk about this. Very helpful? Good. Glad I can help you out. As you keep on plugging at it, if at another Let's Make a Game you have another question, let me know. Let's talk it over. Okay. Anything else? A lot of people in between projects right now. I get that feeling. Cool. I've ever seen her. She loves hearing voices. She started talking to herself as soon as I came back. It's so cute. That's adorable, Amy. Oh. Cool. Yeah, give me just a second to finish setting up Fool's Gold. If anybody has any more questions, now's your shot. And then we've got a couple things to do for filling this Pokedex. I gotta go grab that piece of paper, actually, from last time. And my controller needs to start cooperating. Very strange. This controller's usually fine. There we go. Okay. There we go. Not really working on creative stuff right now other than DMing a D&D campaign. My only question for that is constructing a new area that's satisfying both narratively and gameplay-wise, which I don't think you can help me with. And not necessarily. I think that the two are... I think that in... I've DM'd a bit. I think that the two can be connected. It sort of depends on which direction you want to go first. I often found it really helpful to go from the gameplay direction first, asking myself questions like, what do I want these characters to do, or what would be engaging for these characters to do, right? Not to railroad them into it, but to give it as an option. Admittedly, the way that I DM'd was a lot of waving my arms around and improvising, so I didn't structure super rigidly what was going to happen. So much vaguer advice, but I don't know if that helps, Nistral. Let's bump on over. Nope, we're going to close that. We're going to close that, I said. We're going to close that, I said. Where is it? Boop, there we go. And hello? There we go. As much pre-written out ahead of time? I don't blame you for that. All right, let's change our stream info real quick. We are back to Fool's Gold. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to need one more second. I'll be right back, and then we're going to fill out this Pokedex. What's our Pokemon goal today? We only have about half an hour. So actually, let me answer that for you in a sec. Our Pokemon goal today is to catch as many that are only available during the day as possible, because we always stream. We usually stream at night. I have a list of those, so I'm going to grab that right now. One sec, everybody. All right, he's back. So what's our Pokemon goal for today? Let me tell you what our Pokemon goal for today is. We need to get... we need to figure out why the music stopped. Okay, it's coming back. We need to get Nidoran, Aipom, Teddiursa, Pikachu, Vulpix, and Venonat. Those are the ones that pop up only during the day that we have not gotten yet. So let's see here. Who do we have? We've got Yuja. We got the Good Doctor. Roomba, Tigray, Jotaro, and Buzz. Can anybody here learn Fly? Does the Good Doctor know Fly? He does. I believe there are Venonats in Viridian Forest. So we're going to check that out first. Butterfree, not what I need. Although Butterfree does look pretty sick in this game. That's Venomoth, which we apparently have. We don't have Venonat. That's weird. Need Arena. Might be wrong about Venonat. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I think I specifically remember seeing Venonats in Ilex Forest. So we are gonna... I figured out this is a much faster way to get over, to go between Kanto and Johto. Provided you don't get a million random encounters. Which it appears we are. There we go. We go over here. We walk down here. Ooh, whoa, Roomba evolved. That was quick. Trying to learn Slash. Sure, Roomba, you can have Slash. Nope, never mind. I said no. Doesn't really matter. Let's check out what Kabuto's evolution. What Kabutops's entry is like. Alright, Kabuto. These Pokemon are nearly harmless and crawl slowly along seafloors, but their armor is impenetrable. Kabutops. It is thought to have recently emerged from the deep and is ferocious in its quest for survival. I like that. Good water and bug type. Alright, now we are going to fly. I believe Ilex Forest has what we need. Where is Ilex Forest? There it is. Got the right town, wrong direction. Thank you, Fallen. Right. It's a Pidgey. Venonat, perfect. False swipe. Pokeball, all done. Venonat is ours. These Pokemon are very easy to miss as they blend right into the leaves they cluster on. I think he's supposed to be a little aphid. Alright, we got you. Venonat, no thank you. Can't use fly in Ilex Forest. Alright, next we're going to look for Teddiursa and Pikachu, and I think they're both in the same spot, if I recall correctly. Oh, very Hollow Knight. You're absolutely right, Nistral. Or Becca. Alright. Are they in Ice Path? There he is. There's the boy. I'll false swipe ya. Hit you with the Ultra Ball. Call him Charmin. That's a good name, Fallen. Groups of Teddiursa spend most of their day sleeping in snow burrows guarded by Ursaring. Yes, I'll name Teddiursa. We're gonna name him Charmin. Or Charmin. Charmander. think Pikachu's also in here. Let's real quick. Oh, Mara, are you playing Ace Attorney for the first time? That is very exciting. God, that series rules. Just bringing up the documentation real quick. Okay, glad I checked. Pikachu is not in the ice caves. Thank you for the reminder to go vote on my next Thursday challenge, Becca. Oh, Pikachu, out of nowhere. Just like that, we are cruising through this list. I really need to play Disco Elysium. I still haven't. There we go. Pikachu was caught. Pikachu's data is newly added to the Pokedex. Pikachu lives high in the mountains. It is adapted to living in the harsh cold of the summits. Nicknamed Pikachu. Any suggestions for Pikachu's name? Play it on stream? I think that would require so much reading out loud. Oh. I like Diddle and I like Stew. I like Lemming, but I think that is literally what he is. So, name you Diddle. If I read out loud for too long, my voice totally burns out. Otherwise, it would definitely be on the list. All right, so that's Pikachu and Teddy Ursa down. Next, we need Nidoran and Ipom. I know where Ipom is. And while we're at it, okay, yeah, Kaleburst is not getting it on, so I think we need to catch a Nidoran a different way. The deluxe version is voice acted. Now that makes a difference to me, Marrow. I have to admit it does. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, wait. Kaleburst is not who I thought he was. Whatever. Regardless, let's where's that Pikachu we just caught? There he is. Shows interest in Diddle. Shows interest in Hoggleslog. Okay, cool. I think this is how we're going to get Pichu. Now it's off for Ipom, who I believe is in the national park. I think we should find some Nidorans up here too. There's a Sunkern. Oh, okay. A trainer we never fought before. That ended quick. Another trainer we never fought before. There we go. Ipom. Perfect. False swipe. Ultra Ball. All done. It loves to entertain. If it has no audience, it will perform for stumps and boulders. Oh my lord. I love you. Nickname to Ipom? Yes. What are we thinking for Ipom's name? I am tempted to just take Stew, which is what Pascal just suggested, except Pascal came in with a new one. Noom Jingle. Jonglei. And I think that Nidoran should appear here as well. It's a Mankey. It's a Meryl. That's a Mankey. Name him Teeth. Oh god. Let's take the EXP share off Roomba. When does Ipom evolve? Oh right, Ambipom isn't in this game. And Tigray is Mewtwo, right. No, Ipom only evolves in later games. I forgot about it. Let's look up Nidoran. Okay, I'm again looking in the wrong spot. Ambipoms are scary in RCS. You all are making me want to play that game again, and I already gave up. I already gave up a decent-sized chunk of my life to Pokemon Legends Arceus, but you're making me want to play it again. Who else do we need to evolve? We need Charmin to evolve. I'm not gonna lie, one of the games that I was thinking about learning to speedrun for that option on the poll was Pokemon Legends Arceus. But there were a bunch I was thinking about. There are 3 candidates, actually. That's one of them. And after this, I think all we need to get is Vulpix. I caught the cursor that time. Nobody had to tell me. It was all me. Nidoran, False Swipe, Ultra Ball, easy every time. It is often mistaken as a mossy stone. It's as sturdy as the rocks it's constructed with. Oh no, I just said no to the nickname. Okay, we'll go back and rename that Nidoran later. My bad, everybody. And where is Vulpix? Route 8 and Route 24. North of Cerulean. Okay. Oh. Have we seen Vulpix yet? We've seen Vulpix in Ninetales. Oh. But only once, very briefly, I think. In the run I'm doing this game on my own time for version 1.3, I'm using a Ninetales and it rules. It's very, very cool. Route 24. Oh, Vulpix, there we go. Look at him. A little scrappy. Scrappy dude looking. Just like that, Vulpix was caught. An aggressive Pokemon, its scars are the result of squabbles with bird Pokemon, which it hates. Look at the Vulpix, yes. Fallen suggests Naruto. And I did with my own 2 eyes see the Vulpix running with its R's behind its back. So that is its name. Okay, box is full. Change box. Oh my god, we are filling up this whole computer. So what is even left in our Pokedex at this point? Start from the top. Who else do we need? We need Rattata, which I have written down in our babies list. We need Raichu. We need Clefairy. That's going to be a friendship evolution because we have a Cleffa. We need Ninetales, which looks like this. 2 of its tails are fists, which I think rules. We need Primeape. That's just level up. Weepin' Bell and Victory Bell also just level up. We do not have a Geodude, Graveler, or Golem. That whole line is missing. Alright, Geodude's another gift Pokemon. So let's go to the gift Pokemon guy. Perfect. Our Pichu is ready. Roomba away. Change box to Legends. Put Tigray away. Alright, we got the egg. Perfect. We got Diddle. Okay, so from... I moved the mouse. I remembered it was me. From this guy that we buy a Pokemon from, we're looking for a Geodude, a Clefairy would be cool. Nidoran male. I don't know if we have that. We might. Oh, right. I named it Ibo. We did have one. Ibo. There we go. All done. We can go get a Graveler, and then we could always... Graveler appears in Rock Tunnel, it looks like. And where is Rock Tunnel? There we go. Fly to Cerulean again. Alright, this Graveler and hatching this egg might be the end of the line for today. Oh man, do I really need to? Do I really need to have cut right now? Looks like I do. Can I teach anybody cut? Oh, plenty. Here you go, Charmin. Use your big adorable polar bear claws. That's a trio of Douglases. I'm looking for a Graveler. Mr. Mime, we apparently have. What were the odds of finding it? Rock tunnel. Surprised we haven't found it yet. There's Graveler. All right. Big goopy lava boy. Gonna hit you with as many false swipes as it takes. Then we're gonna hit you with the Ultra Ball. Anybody wants to name Graveler? Now's your shot. Graveler's data was newly added to the Pokédex. Magma Pokemon. It is surrounded by unbearable heat. Few trainers form a physical bond with their Graveler. That's sad. And a Graveler. Marrow soup is pretty good. Soup is pretty good. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna need a Geodude as well. And what else in the decks do we need? I can write that down real quick. That's not just evolving. Magneton's evolving. We need a Ghastly. That's for breeding. Hot Soup. We need Voltorb. How do you get Voltorb? You get Electrode at Route 22. Write that down. So we need Electrode, and then we need to turn that into a Voltorb. Or we need to make that breed to get a Voltorb. Evolution. Breeding, we're gonna need to star you. We're gonna need a Friendship Evolve a Magby into a Magmar. We're pretty close though. We have 222 out of 251 or 252. That's pretty close. We only have like 30 left. That's pretty wild. Let's high speed dash around until we get a Pichu, and then we'll call it a day. Oh, there's Raticate.
Is there anything else I can get you, madame? No. All I want to do is leave this house.
Yeah, this has all been a lot faster than I thought it would be. We've been doing this for a few weeks, but I expected that we'd be doing it for a few months. Speed up surely helps. Having access to all this info definitely helps. I'm gonna give you soup. Alright, Pichu. Coming out of that egg. You're surrounded. It's time to be born. There we go. look at that little chunk. Look at him go. Oh my god, I love him. Give a nickname to Pichu? Yes. Any names for Pichu? Ooh, I like Sesame. I know you weren't suggesting it, Fallen, but I'm just taking it. Sesame. Let's take a look at Pichu's entry. These tiny Pokemon hang precariously from the sides of cliffs, but they're too light to disturb any rocks. Oh, little darling. Let's save. So where are we at? We're at 223, I believe. 223. We are getting there, everybody. My goodness. We got a couple of friendship evolutions to do. Those might take a bit. But we're really doing the dang thing. We're really doing the dang thing. We have made such progress. I'm proud of us. I think we're doing all right. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. Thank you for supporting the stream enough that I can take the time to do Let's Make a Game and Dessert. And next Sunday, we're going to do Let's Make a Game again, same time. If this is way too early for everybody, I might be able to bump it an hour or something like that. So let me know what you think. Feel free to tweet at me. And if you haven't already, vote in that poll on my Twitter at VibertKevin, at VibertKevin, for what challenge game we should do on Thursdays once we're done with Cuphead. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. And I will talk to you all later. In fact, I'll talk to you all tomorrow for some more Fool's Gold. Who knows how many new Pokemon we'll bust through then. We'll find out. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.